Good morning, students. This is our fourth class. In our previous class, we have studied about the multiplication of integers. In this, we shall study about the division of integers. So, let us see the rules for division of integers. The first condition is if the sign of two numbers are same, the quotient is always a positive number. Okay. So whenever we divide two numbers having the same sign, we will get the quotient always a positive number. Okay. So whenever we divide two positive number, in this case we will get a positive number. Or we divide two negative number, in this case also we will get a positive number. Hence, we can say that whenever we divide two numbers having the same sign, we get the resultant positive number. Okay. Let us see with the help of example. Here in the first example, we have taken two positive integers, that is plus 20 and plus 5. And dividing both the positive integer, we get the quotient plus 4. Here plus 4 is a positive number. In our second example also, we have taken two positive numbers plus 8 and plus 4. Dividing both the positive numbers, we are getting the quotient plus 2. That is a positive number. So whenever we divide two positive integer, we get the positive quotient. Okay. Now let us see in the case of division of two negative integers. Here in the first example, we have taken two negative integers, minus 20 and minus 5. And dividing both the negative integers, we get the resultant plus 4. Okay, plus 4 is a positive integer. In the second example also, we have taken two negative integers, minus 8 and minus 4. And dividing both the two negative integers, we are getting the resultant plus 2. So, whenever we divide two integers having the same sign, either positive or negative, we get the resultant positive. Okay. Here also we have seen that whenever we divide two integers both negative, we are getting the resultant positive. Okay. The second condition is if the sign of the two numbers are different, the quotient is always a negative number. So whenever we divide two numbers having different sign, we get the resultant negative. Okay. So if we divide a positive number with a negative number, we get the resultant negative. Or if we divide a negative number by a positive number, we get the resultant negative. Okay. So in short, we can say whenever we divide two integers having the different sign, we get the resultant negative in both the cases. Okay. Let us see the example. Here in the first example, we have taken two integers, one positive and other negative, and dividing a positive integers by a negative integer, we get the resultant negative. So our answer is minus 4. In the second example, we have taken one negative integer and other positive integer. And dividing a negative integer by a positive integer gives us a negative answer. In the third example also, we have taken one positive and other negative integer. Dividing minus 30 by plus 5 gives us minus 6. Okay. So whenever we are dividing two integers having different sign, we are getting the resultant negative. Okay. Or the resultant with a negative sign. Now we can summarize the rule as whenever we divide two integers having the same sign, we get the resultant positive. And whenever we divide two integers having different sign, we get the resultant negative. Okay. So our rule will be same sign gives us a positive result and different sign gives us a negative result. Okay. Now let us try this. The first question is 36 divided by minus 4 gives us, here there are two integers with different sign, and we know whenever we divide two integers with different sign, we get the negative result. Okay, so our answer will be -9. Okay, here in the second question we have -48 divided by -6. Okay, both are the negative integers, and whenever we divide two negative integers or integers with the same sign, we get the positive result. So our answer will be +8. In the third question, we have 64 divided by +4. Both are the positive, okay, having the same sign. So a resultant will be positive and it will be 16. Okay. Following things you should keep in your mind. The first is the divisor should not be equal to 0 because a number divided by 0 is undefined. So whenever we are taking the denominator as 0 or the divisor as 0, the number becomes equal to infinite, which is not defined. Okay. In the second one, the quotient of two integers is not always an integer. So whenever we divide two integers, it is not necessary that in each and every case we will get the resultant as integer. Okay, it can be a decimal number also. Okay. Now let us see the property of division of integer. And the first property is the closure property of division of integers. So let us now observe the following example. The first example is 15 divided by 5 gives us +3. The second one is -3 divided by 9 gives us -3 by 9, that is -1/3. Also 7 divided by 4 gives us 1.75, and 1 divided by 2 gives us 1/2, that is 0.5. And from the above example we can see that all are not integers. Okay, here 3 is an integer but the rest are not the integers, so we can say that integers are not closed under division. Okay, the next property is the commutative property of division of integers. Okay, in this we will change the order of the integers being divided. So let us first see the example. Here we are dividing 15 by 5. Okay, and 15 divided by 5 gives us +3. So suppose if we change the order. Okay, now we are dividing 5 by 15, and in this case 5 divided by 15 gives us 1/3. Here we can see that 3 is not equal to 1/3. So 15 divided by 5 is not equal to 5 divided by 15. Hence we can say that integers are not commutative under division. Okay. Now let us see the associative property of division of integers. So observe the following. Here we have taken three integers 12, 6 and 2. So 12 divided by under bracket 6 divided by 2. Here 6 and 2 are taken inside the bracket. So first we will solve this bracket and it will be 3. So this whole will be 12 divided by 3 and our answer will be +4. Now in the next case we have paired up the first two integers, that is 12 and 6 divided by 2. So in this case we will solve this bracket and our answer will be 2. So finally this will convert into 2 divided by 2 and our answer will be +1. Here in both the cases we are seeing that 4 is not equal to 1, that is 12 divided by inside the bracket 6 divided by 2 is not equal to under bracket 12 divided by 6 divided by 2. Okay, so from this example we observe that integers are not associative under division. Okay, students, so far we have seen the product of two negative integers. Now we shall see what is the product of three or more negative integers. So let us take the example. The first example is minus 4 multiplied by minus 3. Okay, and when same sign integers get multiplied, we get the positive result and our answer will be plus 12. In the second example, we have taken three negative integers minus 4, minus 3 and minus 2 in multiplication. So, we will first pair the first two integers, that is minus 4 and minus 3. Okay, and it will be multiplied by minus 2. So, we will solve the bracket first and it will give us plus 12. So, this plus 12 will get multiplied by minus 2. Hence, our answer will be minus 24. Now, in the third case, we have taken four negative integers. So, we will pair up the first three integers, that is minus 4, minus 3 and minus 2 in multiplication. And it will be multiplied with minus 1. So, after solving this bracket, we will get the answer minus 24, which we have seen in our previous case. And it will be multiplied by minus 1. So, our answer will be plus 24. Okay. Now, let us see the another case. In the last case, we have taken 5 negative integers. And in this, we shall pair the last 4 integers and which will be multiplied the first integer. So, after solving this bracket, we will get the answer plus 24 we have seen in our previous case. So, this 24 will get multiplied by minus 5 and our answer will be minus 120. Okay. Hence, we have seen the product of two negative integers is a positive integer. And the product of three negative integers is a negative integer. The product of four negative integers is again a positive integer. So, what do we observe? We observe that if the negative integers in the product is even, okay? So, whenever we are multiplying the negative integers even number of times, then the resultant is positive. And if the number of negative integers in the product is odd, then the product is negative integer. So, let us clear this concept. Here in this, we have the product of odd number of negatives as negative. Okay, and the product of even number of negative is positive. So, what do we mean by this? Whenever there is a negative sign multiplied odd number of times gives us a negative, and whenever the negative sign multiplied even number of times gives us positive. Okay, so here you should not be confused with even number and odd number. Here this even and odd number are denoting the number of times the negative integer comes. Okay, it is not at all the same as the even or odd number. Okay, so in short we can say even number of negative sign gives us positive. Okay, and odd number of negative sign gives us negative. Hence, when the negative signs are coming even number of times, it will be a positive result. And when the negative sign is coming odd number of times, we will get the negative result. Okay. Now, for better understanding, let us do the example. In a test, plus 5 marks are given for every correct answer and minus 2 marks are given for every incorrect answer. Radhika answered all the question and scored 30 marks, though she got 10 correct answer. Jay also answered all the questions and scored minus 12 marks, though he got 4 correct answer. How many incorrect answer had they attempted? So, here in this case, plus 5 marks is given for correct answer and minus 2 marks is given for incorrect answer. In case of Radhika, she has scored 30 marks and her correct answers are 10. Okay. And in case of Jay, he had scored minus 12 marks and his correct answers are 4. Okay. So here we have a clear understanding that Radhika's score is 30 and Jay's score is minus 12, and correct answers of Radhika are 10 and for Jay is 4. Now let us know how many marks are deducted for their incorrect answers. So here plus 5 marks is for the correct answer, and Radhika has done 10 correct answer. So her score for the correct answer will be plus 50. But the actual score of Radhika is 30. Hence, we can see that the marks obtained for incorrect answer will be Radhika's actual score minus Radhika score for 10 correct answer. Okay. Here Radhika's score is 30 and her score for 10 correct answers is 50. So 30 minus 50 will be minus 20. So her marks which are deducted for incorrect answers are minus 20. And the marks for one incorrect answer is minus 2. We know. So the number of incorrect answers will be the total marks deducted divided by the marks deducted in one answer, wrong answer. So it will be minus 20 divided by minus 2, that is plus 10. So Radhika has done 10 incorrect answer. Okay. The number of incorrect answer done by Radhika is 10. Now in case of Jay, he has done 4 correct answer. So his score for 4 correct answer will be plus 20. But Jay's actual score is minus 12. So the marks obtained for incorrect answer will be the actual score minus the score for 4 correct answer. So it will be minus 32. The marks which has been deducted for incorrect answer is minus 32. And the marks given for incorrect answer is minus 2. Therefore, the number of incorrect answer will be this overall marks deducted for incorrect answer divided by the marks deducted for one incorrect answer, that is minus 32 divided by minus 2 is equals to 16. So, J has done 16 incorrect answers. Now, let us do one more example. A shopkeeper earns a profit of rupees 1 by selling one pen and incurs a loss of 40 paise per pencil while selling the pencil of her old stock. Here, we have a profit of rupees 1 by selling one pen and a loss of 40 paise by selling one pencil. In a particular month, she incurs a loss of rupees 5. Here, the overall loss is rupees 5. For that particular month, she sold 45 pens. How many pencils did she sell in this period? We have to calculate the number of pencils sold in this period. Let us denote the profit by a positive integer and loss by a negative integer. The profit on one pen is rupees 1, which will be 100 paise, and the loss on one pencil is 40 paise. Here we are taking the loss with a negative sign, so it will be minus 40 paise. We are converting all the units into paise. The overall loss is given minus 5 rupees, which will be minus 500 paise. Okay. Now, the number of pens sold in that particular month is 45. So, the profit on 45 pens will be 45 into 100 paise. It will be 4500 paise. Now the loss on the pencil sold will be the loss on per pencil multiplied by the number of pencils sold. We know the loss per pencil is minus 40 paise and it will be multiplied by the number of pencils sold. Now our equation will be total loss is equals to profit on pen sold plus loss on the pencil sold. Here we are calculating the total loss or the overall loss, because in the question itself it is given the overall loss in that particular month is rupees 5 and it will be equal to the profit on the pen sold plus loss on the pencil sold. So it will be minus 500 is equals to 4500 plus minus 40 into number of pencils sold. This we have calculated earlier and we will put it as it is because we don't know the number of pencils sold. Now we will shift this 4500 to the other side, and when it will be shifted the sign will get changed. It will be minus 4500, and when this both negative integers will be added we will get minus 5000 because two negative integers when added gives us a negative integer as a resultant. Okay, and both the integers get added. It will be equal to minus 40 into number of pencils sold. Okay, now this minus 40 will be shifted to the other side and it will be minus 5000 divided by minus 40. Okay, 1 0 will get cancelled from both the sides and it will be 500 divided by 4, which will give us the result 125. So the number of pencils sold will be equal to 125. Okay, the second part, in the next month she earns neither profit nor loss. If she had sold 70 pens, how many pencils did she sell? Okay, in the next month she has neither profit nor loss. So if she sold 70 pens during that month, how many pencils did she sell for having no loss and no profit? So here it is given that the total profit or loss is 0. Okay, and the number of pens sold is 70. So the profit on 70 pens will be 7000 paise multiplied by 100 because we are converting it into paise. So the overall profit for pen will be 7000 paise. Now the loss on the pencil sold will be minus 40 into number of pencils sold. So it will be minus 40 into number of pencils sold because we don't know the number of pencils sold in that particular month. So the loss will be written as minus 40 into number of pencils sold. Here the overall profit or loss is given by the profit on pens sold plus loss on the pencils sold. We are adding the loss as well as the profit because we are taking the loss by a negative integer. So the overall profit or loss is given 0. So it will be 0 is equals to 7000 plus minus 40 into number of pencils sold. Here this 7000 will get shifted to the other side and its sign will get changed. So it will be minus 7000 is equals to minus 40 into number of pencils sold. Here this minus 7000 will be equal to minus 40 into number of pencils sold. Now this 40 will be shifted to the other side and here it is in multiplication. So in the next other side it will be in division. So it will be minus 7000 divided by minus 40. It will be 700 divided by 4, which is equals to 175. So we have calculated the number of pencils sold. Here we have used the concept that if the number of pencils sold is 175, that the overall loss or profit will be 0.